In today's video, we're talking about what you can do to save money on your grocery bills. Hello friends and welcome back. In today's video, we're talking about how you can save money on your groceries. Prices have been going up left, right and center, not only for food, but for fuel, all sorts of things. In today's video, we're looking specifically at how you can save some money or how you can make your money go further when you're shopping for groceries. Now, on this page, I have 20 tips for you on what you can do to save some money on your grocery bill or how to stretch that grocery bill so you can get the best bang for your buck. And number one is to set a realistic budget. Now, a lot of people don't budget for food. They just spend whatever they need or whatever they think they need to spend on food. And there are places where you can definitely save on that. But the first thing is to make a realistic budget for your family. This budget, what you set this month might need to be tweaked a little bit. It may be too little, it may be too much, but there are always things, especially if you take into consideration some of the items on this list, that you can do to save some money. So set a budget and then you may need to tweak it. So just be aware of that. Number two, this is a huge one. Don't be brand loyal. There is a kind of status around people in England and buying certain products. So there is a certain kind of tinned beans. The same company also makes a tinned tomato soup. Now, I'm not going to say the name, but if you were British, you'll know exactly what I mean. If you know, you know, right? But there is a massive status thing around buying this specific brand of beans and this specific brand of tomato soup. Now, a lot of people will tell me, oh, you know, you can't beat this brand. It is the best on the market. You can't beat this tomato soup. It's a taste of my childhood. And no other soup comes close. And I'm going to say, fair enough. There may be certain items that you refuse to budge on. And you know that that is your favorite product and you refuse to change that product. Or you may buy a certain kind of laundry detergent because your family has sensitive skin and that's the reason why you have to have that certain kind of detergent, because it doesn't upset anyone's skin. Fair enough. But what I will say to you is this. It has been proven that many items are made in the same factory, but a different label is slapped on that tin, and the item is sold as a store's own brand and also as a big name brand. It's the exact same item in many cases. Not all cases, many cases. What I will say to you is try the brand challenge. Now, before my daughter was born, I was very brand loyal. I used to only buy specific brands of tinned tomatoes, certain brands of coffee. I was very brand loyal. And after I had my daughter, I had a massive wake-up call because when I wasn't working, I was on maternity leave, and I realized that in order for us to survive, I had to adapt the way I shopped. Now, there were some things, obviously, that I'm brand loyal to and that I will stick to, but there are so many things that I was very surprised at how I didn't mind the cheaper products. So the brand challenge is simply this. Say like you only buy a certain brand of beans, and that's the brand that you like. The brand challenge means you go down one price bracket, so the next cheapest item, the next cheapest brand of beans, and you try those. If they're just as good and you like them just as much as the brand that you're currently buying, keep that in mind. But next time, try the cheaper beans, the one cheaper than the second brand down, and see if you like those just as much. Keep doing this until you find a price that is a good price that you can stick to and that you can realistically fit into your budget, and the product tastes exactly the same or perhaps better than the top brand that you were buying. So in other words, you're going down a price each time to see if that item is as good as the brand that you were buying, and if you can live with that price and live with that taste of that cheaper item. I did this and I was absolutely astounded. Things like canned goods. They were exactly the same. I couldn't tell the difference. If my husband can't tell the difference, believe me, there is no difference. I can tell you this right now, because some things, I swear, he has superior taste buds. If he can't tell the difference, neither will you. So do this for items like cleaning products. A lot of cleaning products are exactly the same. It just doesn't have the fancy brand name. Same thing. It still cleans. It still does a good job. So buy down the next brand and see if you can manage. If you can, great. That's the price that you're now going to be buying, and that's the product that you're now going to be buying, and it will save you so much money. Why buy a tin of tomatoes at £1.35 a tin of tomatoes when you can buy a tin of tomatoes for 35p and they taste exactly the same? Keep it in mind. Keep an open mind. And try it and see what you think. And leave me a comment down below to see how many items you've switched to that are much cheaper and that nobody can tell the difference. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Number 3 is when you're out shopping and you see a good deal on an item. Like the other day, we like a certain brand of hot dog sausages. And the other day I noticed that they were 50p cheaper than what they usually are. So I bought 1 for now and 2 for later. The sell-by date was the 27th of May, so I've stuck them in the freezer. If they have a long shelf life, great. You might be able to, and if you have budget for it this week, you might be able to stock up on a few more of those. If you know that they are perishable but freezable, you can buy some now, one for now and some for later. But the rule of thumb, try to go with, if something's on a good offer, buy at least 1 now and 2 for later. Number 4, check out the yellow sticker section. The yellow sticker section is a section where things are marked down to clearance. Now, this is a bit hit and miss. Some of the stuff that you find in the yellow sticker section is probably not stuff that you really want to eat now, or you really want to freeze, or some of the stuff there is a little bit hit and miss. So you just have to be a bit picky about what you choose. But you can often find meat reduced. You can find vegetables reduced. There are loads and loads of things that you can find on yellow sticker that are cheaper than buying it at full price. However, I would advise you to be a little bit wary. Recently, I noticed that there was a packet of sausages, the kind that we like, and they were marked down to £2.15. Instead of being £2.50, they were £2.15. And I thought to myself, okay, well, that's a few pennies off. I'll take that. So there were 2 packs. I took 2 packs. So £2.15 times 2 is £4.30. I was walking past the sausages looking for some bacon, and I noticed that they had an offer on 2 packs of sausages, the ones that we like, for £4. Sometimes they will put things in yellow sticker just because it's cheaper per base item. So those sausages would have cost £2.50 a pack when they went on offer for 2 for 4. And I thought I was getting a good deal because I was getting some money off, but the store's offer was actually a better deal, 2 packets of sausages for £2, than the 2 I found in clearance for £2.15 each. So keep an eye out and make sure that you are getting a good deal. Don't just think, oh, it's yellow sticker, it must be cheaper. It's not always the case. So you just have to do your maths, and you just have to make sure that you are indeed getting a good deal. But often the yellow sticker deals are really good. Now, a lot of people say to me, oh no, I never buy that stuff, it's going off. Guys, here's the thing. On meat, if it's a yellow sticker, that means that it needs to be eaten that day. This means that you can take that yellow sticker item, that meat, whatever it is, say it's chicken breast, and you can stick that straight into the freezer, and then you can eat that at another time. There is nothing wrong with freezing it on the day that it needs to be sold by. The yellow sticker usually means it needs to be sold that day. It's going out of date that day. But you can freeze that and you can use that another time. So bear that in mind. If it's fruit or vegetables, often they have, quite a few days left in them. You can take that home, and if your family is anything like mine, that fruit will be gone in 60 seconds. It'll be gone in 2 days. So that fruit is a good buy. Sometimes you can buy that fruit and you can freeze it for later. So just bear in mind that there are ways that you can use things that are close to their sell-by date and make them last longer. So that yellow sticker really can be your friend, that yellow sticker section, if you work smart with the items. Number 5, it's been said so many times before, yet we all do it. Don't shop on an empty stomach. You know what it's like. You go into the store and everything looks good. Suddenly everything starts looking like a bacon sandwich walking past you, right? And you're hungry and you're just putting stuff in the trolley willy-nilly, forgetting your grocery bill, forgetting your menu plan, and you're just chucking stuff in the trolley because you're starving. Don't do it. Have something to eat before you go out. Make sure you have something to drink as well, and then stick to your list. Number 6. And I know this is almost impossible in some cases, especially during the summer holidays, but avoid shopping with children at all costs. When you're shopping with children, you're stressed out, you're trying not to let Tommy climb to the top of the shelf that's containing the Lego. The kids want a snack, they're bored, they're tired, they see a new product, they want to try it out. And at that point, you will do anything to get your groceries and get out of that grocery store as fast as humanly possible. Don't shop with children. If you can, shop at night, or shop when the kids are in bed, or shop when the kids are at school. Don't shop with kids. It is a bad idea all around. Number 7, shop online if possible. Now, marketing strategies are so clever these days, even online, but worse in store. You will buy more things that you don't need when you're shopping in store than you will when you're shopping online. And to save costs even more, see if you can do a click and collect. So where you do your shopping online, you pay for your groceries, and you arrange a time when you can go to the store and park in their parking lot and get your groceries brought out to you and put them straight in your car. And that way you're not going into store at all. It saves time, it saves a delivery cost, and it saves you money in the long run because you're not impulse buying. Number 8. Stick to your list, like glue if possible, because the more you just put stuff into the trolley, without realizing it, it adds up. It adds up to £10, £20 extra a week on your groceries for those impulse purchases. So do yourself a favor and just try to stick to your grocery list, to your menu plan, and be aware of the few bits and pieces that you add every week to your trolley, because it does add up big time. Number 9. As I said before, the marketing strategies are really clever. They will put items that they want you to buy, which are not necessarily the cheapest items or the best value for money, at eye level. But if you look above you or below you on those shelves, you can often find a better product with more quantity in the product for a better price. So make sure that you have a look at above you and below you, rather than just shopping at your eye level, because that is where they will put the items that often cost more. And if you're doing the brand challenge, the items that you want to try and look at and the items that are cheaper are always on the bottom shelf or the higher shelves. Number 10. Don't let good food go to waste. Plan at least one night a week to have a leftovers night. We call this smorgasbord night. Now, smorgasbord is where you have a whole bunch of little different things that you can choose from, and you can choose to have for dinner. And it turns out to be one of our favorites, because everybody will have a bit of this, a bit of that. There's some leftover this, there's some leftover that. And it makes for an interesting meal, but it's always one of our favorites because everybody gets to choose a bit of what they like. And best of all, you don't have any wastage, because all the food that you're throwing away is literally like taking a $20 bill, a £20 note, and just chucking it in the bin. Every time you waste food, every time you throw away food, it's just like taking the money out of your purse and chucking it in the bin. Why would you do that? Why? Number 11, the night before you go shopping, look in your fridge and in your fruit bowl and see what you can save from going into the bin. If you have a bit of celery that's looking a bit wilted, chop it up, put it in a freezer bag, label the freezer bag and chuck it in the freezer. Later on in the month when you're making a casserole, you've got some celery that you can use from the freezer. You can do the same with fruit to make a crumble later on. There are so many different things that you can do to preserve food. If you've got some fruit in the fruit bowl that's looking a little bit brown, maybe some bananas, you can take them out of their skins, put them in a Ziploc bag, freeze those, and put them in a smoothie later, or put them in banana bread later once you've added a couple more bananas, because invariably, look, let's be reasonable. You buy 2 bananas and they get eaten in 20 seconds flat. You buy 10 bananas because everyone seems to love bananas and not one gets touched, right? It happens every time in my my family. So take those fruits and take those things that you would be throwing away and see if you can freeze them. If you've got berries that you haven't used and that you know you're going shopping tomorrow, take those berries and stick them in a Ziploc bag. Next week, if you've got a bit of pineapple that's left over, or if you've got a bit of avocado left over, put those things in the same bag. And basically what you're doing is you're building up a smoothie bag, because you can buy those packs of smoothie fruits in the supermarket and they're expensive. With all the bits and pieces that you can salvage from your fruit bowl, you can save those for making smoothies later. And it's much cheaper, and that stuff would have gone in the bin. Remember, any food you're throwing in the bin, it's like taking your money and just chucking it in the bin. Number 12 is to learn what you can freeze. Take a wander down the frozen aisle in your supermarket, and anything that is in that frozen aisle is anything you can freeze at home. So if you have vegetables that you've bought some vegetables and you haven't used them, you can freeze those vegetables. Some vegetables may need to be pre-blanched, which means you put them into hot water for 1 to 2 minutes, and then you drain them, and then you can freeze those. There are certain ways of freezing almost, well, not almost everything, but a lot of different things. So there are things that you can do to salvage food and to freeze food for later. You just sometimes need to learn the method. We're not talking about complicated processes here. We're talking about perhaps having to blanch the vegetables before you freeze them. There may be things like berries that you want to use later. It's probably best to freeze them on a tray in your freezer, just to flash freeze them so that they're all separated, and then once they're frozen you can put them in a Ziploc bag and use them for later. That way they're not all stuck together and squished in a big lump, because you may not want a big lump of blueberries. So there are things that you can do to make sure that you can store that food and freeze it for later. If it's in the freezer aisle, there is a way to freeze it, and you can find out how. Just Google it. Easy peasy. And remember, at the end of the day, anything that you can save for another time is money saved, is money that you're not having to spend this week, because you can shop your freezer, you can shop your fridge, you can shop your pantry. Check and see what you can save. Number 13, don't shop when you're stressed. I find that I impulse buy the worst when I'm stressed out. If I go into that supermarket and I've had a really hard day, I think to myself, oh, look, they've got this chocolate on offer at the moment. Oh, I've had a bad day. I'll chuck that into the trolley. Guys, don't do it. Just don't do it. It is a recipe for disaster, and it is disastrous for your budget. Number 14, don't be store loyal. Don't be loyal to certain shops. If you always shop at Sainsbury's, and oh no, Sainsbury's always has the best quality. Does it? If you always shop at Asda, or if you always shop at Tesco, get out of your comfort zone. Go and visit a cheaper store. Go and visit a store like Aldi, for instance, and see what you can buy there for cheaper than the store that you normally shop at. Now, it may be that you will buy certain items at certain stores and other cheaper items at other stores. That's fine. Don't be loyal to just one store, because your budget is not going to thank you. If you keep an eye on some of the offers in stores, you can do your shopping. It might take you a bit longer, but you're going to save a lot of money, okay? So don't be loyal to one store. Make sure that you keep an eye on the prices, you know how much things cost in the store where you normally buy them, and see if you can get them cheaper elsewhere. Number 15, just because you always buy a certain size of item doesn't mean that that size is the best value for money. Sometimes the next size up is actually better value for money, because it's cheaper per quantity, per item. So often if you look at in the stores, you look at what the price is, and often it'll tell you how much that item costs per unit. So say like there are 10 granola bars in a box and the price is $1.99. I haven't done the maths on this, so just go within the general analogy, but don't mock my maths, okay? Don't judge me. So it's $1.99 for 10 granola bars, and it comes up that those granola bars are 10p each. There may be a bigger box of 15 granola bars, and it turns out that they are 5p each. It sometimes pays to get a bigger box, but only if you're going to eat all of those items. Okay, so do your maths and have a think about this. I mean, sometimes it's better to buy bigger, but sometimes it's not. For instance, I needed to go and buy some dishwasher pods for my dishwasher. It was $9.99 for 45 of the dishwasher pods. And I thought, oh, that seems like a good brand. I like that brand. It seems like a good price. I'll get that one. I thought that was a good deal until I looked over and I saw that the smaller packages had more pods in them and they were £3 each. So I bought 3 of the smaller packs, and it meant that I was getting 60 dishwasher tablets and I was paying £9 instead of getting 45 dishwasher tablets for $9.99. Have a look along the shelf and see where you can compare prices and how you can make that money go a little bit further. Number 16 is to use store loyalty cards to your advantage. Now, there are so many different loyalty cards out there with different schemes and different plans on how you can use that money, but know what you can do with each and every one, know which ones you get discounts on, and make use of them. Number 17, don't go down an aisle for something that you don't need. Do not go down the candy aisle. Do not go down the sweet aisle. Do not go down the biscuit aisle or the fizzy drinks aisle if that's not what's on your grocery list. Don't do it, because you will put something in your trolley. Number 18, resist the temptation to buy things in the homeware aisle. I don't know what it is. I always have to go down the homeware aisle. And unless I avoid it like the plague, I always come back with something. New tea towels, some glasses, a mug, a drinks bottle. Stay away from that. And also, another thing is when you get to the tills, they put stuff there so that you will just chuck it in your trolley at the last second. Resist it. Resist the temptation. Number 19 is learn to make the items that cost a lot. For example, the kids' snacks that go into the trolley every week, they're really expensive for what they are. They may be things like little 2 packs of cookies, or they may be some bits of mixed up dried fruit. You can buy separate bags of dried fruit in bigger quantities, and you can separate these out and put them into a little plastic container for your kids' snack at school. The plastic container is reusable and you get more out in the long run. You can make things like kids' cookies. You can freeze them. You can make the cookie dough and freeze the cookie dough in the freezer, and then once a week just make a batch of cookies, take it straight out the freezer, pop them on the tray into the oven, and you're not spending so much money on these little packets of kids' treats or kids' lunchbox items that just really cost the earth for what they are. And number 20, do not buy anything that you don't have a plan to use. So if you don't have a plan this week to buy, if you don't have a plan this week to use, I don't know, say cauliflower, but cauliflower's on offer. Unless you have plans to freeze that cauliflower or batch make cauliflower cheese to stick into the freezer, don't buy cauliflower, because it's gonna die in your tray, in your fridge. It's gonna be one of those things that you're gonna end up throwing out. And remember, throwing food away is like taking money straight out of your purse and chucking it in the bin. This is not what we want to do. So don't buy it if you have no plans to use it. Guys, that's your video for today. If you have any top tips for how to save money on your grocery bill, leave them down below, because we need it more than ever at this point. And if you have any other tips for how to save money on your groceries, how to save food, ideas on how to use things up that would have possibly gone into the bin, leave those comments down below. Let's really help each other out with this one. As usual, if you've liked this video, give it a big thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and if you're new here, consider subscribing for more content coming out every week. Ideas on how to use things up that would have possibly gone into the bin, leave those comments down below. Let's really help each other out with this one. As usual, if you've liked this video, give it a big thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and if you're new here, consider subscribing for more content coming out every week. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and until next time, keep calm, and I don't know, I still need to find a tagline for these videos. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Bye for now.